Hey, what's up guys? So one of you asked me what was like my favorite photo shoot through the last couple of years. So I kind of put together all my jobs. I decided to do a video log about this on my top 10 most memorable job moments. So at number 10 is going to probably be my Nike photo shoot, which was about a year ago. It was a great experience. I was in town for a couple of days, and it was actually one of the hardest jobs I ever had because it was a different type of e-commerce. I was shooting a special Nike Lab project, which is I can't mention, but it was one of those type of e-commerce jobs where, okay, so you have to stand in front, side, then back real quick. And then you gotta do some action shots, and my role was supposed to be a tennis player. And so after that, we get into the details, which is the hardest part, because you have to stand completely still, and the stylist has to come over and pick everything up. They shoot, if there's a wrinkle, she comes back. So you're at this uncomfortable position for probably about 20 minutes, and you're doing it for each side. So for one outfit, you're shooting like 45 minutes to an hour with a total of 10 outfits, which is crazy. But then again, you get like a 30-minute break. But Nike was like one of my favorite jobs to work with, and it's one of my favorite brands. And at number 9 was actually my first ever job. It was my it was a Calvin Klein lookbook in South Korea. And with that story, they asked me to shave my entire body on set. Well, I didn't do that. Instead, I ended up buying the cream, which is like burns off your hair. And I left it on too long, and unfortunately, I developed a rash the next day, and I had it for about 3 months. But yeah, that was like one of my first jobs, and it was underwear. But it was a good experience. I mean, for my first trip ever. Number 8, I got food poison at Abercrombie & Fitch. So I flew out to Columbus, Ohio for a couple of days to shoot. And one of the people referred me to go to this burger place called North Star, and they got like the best veggie burgers ever. Like they just, So I was like, all right, I'm gonna try, one of their veggie burgers. So I had it for dinner the night before the shoot, and I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I started to feel really sick, and then as soon as I got on set, then I started getting like even more sick. Like I started to sweat, got a fever, but I was like, I just want to get this done. I didn't complain or anything, so they noticed like, Charlie, you look pale and stuff. You don't look so good. I was like, no, we're gonna shoot. So, and all of a sudden, I ended up throwing up all over set, and I got really sick. They ended up sending me home, but I still want to keep shooting. They're like, no, you can't work in this condition. So I was stuck in my room for the couple days until my plane ride, and then I ended up throwing up all over the plane. So they had me like lay down all the way to the back of the plane. This was like a couple of years ago, by the way. And so they just gave me ginger tea. They took care of me, but I would say that's one of the worst memorable experiences, but it's a good story to tell, I guess. Number 7 is my first runway show for Bench Underwear Philippines. I had the best experience and the best time of my life in the Philippines when I was there for about 4.5 months. However, I had a major food problem. Like, I would eat constantly because the food is so good, and I got really addicted to this stuff called suman, which is like a coconut leaf inside like sticky white rice, and it tasted amazing. So my first runway show was Bench Underwear Philippines. I don't know how I booked that because I wasn't in good shape at all. I could show you guys a picture in a bit, but it was definitely one of my first memorable experience on the runway, and it was pretty cool because there was a giant production team. There was a lot of models there. Number 6 is my first New York campaign for Nautica. It was my last weekend in New York, and I haven't booked a job yet. I was a new face. I was signed with IMG, and then all of a sudden, I didn't know what Nautica was back then, to be honest. So my agent called me and is like, all right, you gotta like book your flight for next week because you just booked a campaign for Nautica. I was like, what's Nautica? I want to go back home. And I Googled it, and I'm like, oh snap. Okay, so I'm definitely doing this. So I shot in Montauk for a couple of days, and basically my whole role was, you know, just have fun on the beach with your friends, play some football, play with the dogs. So I gotta remember that. I mean, that's like one of my favorite experiences as far as, you know, being in New York for my first time and then traveling to the beaches there up in Montauk, including the Hamptons. Hamptons are nice. That was my first time there. At number 5 was my first major magazine and the first major photographer to shoot with, Bruce Weber for V Magazine. I did that about a year ago. We shot with a huge crew, and Bruce Weber, man, he's a legend. Like, the way he takes the photos and everything is crazy because he's got like 3 or 4 assistants that hold the different cameras, because he uses like the old school camera that takes like 12 pictures. I don't know the name, I don't want to sound stupid, but that was like another one of the experiences I had, you know, shooting with Bruce Weber, and I hope in the future I get to shoot with him again. At number 4 was Jeremy Scott for Adidas. So 3 years ago, this is how I met Jeremy Scott. Was you know, his assistant Pablo messaged me on Instagram. He's like, yeah, he's doing a lookbook here for Milk Studios for Adidas in his home line. And I was like, oh yeah. So I ended up doing that, and I shot with Sarah Sampaio, and it was probably like another one of the hardest shoots, the most tiring shoots ever, because they hired a choreographer on set, and they had to do these certain poses, and you're jumping for like hours and hours, and you're sweating, your legs hurt, but it was definitely one of the memorable experiences. We shot at Milk Studios here, and it was pretty cool. And I kept in touch with Jeremy Scott ever since. Now he works at, he's a designer for Moschino, which is pretty cool. So at number 3, my first major runway show was Moschino. I did it a year ago. They had their show in Los Angeles, and there's no way good to do it in my hometown, doing my first major show. It was an experience I remember. There was so many female supermodels, so many celebrities, just the whole production team in general. Like, I was in awe because I never experienced anything like that. And backstage, how everything works, it was crazy. It's got a lot of cameras, you know, people filming you, you know, it's a mind trip, man. Like, it was, there's no way to describe how amazing it was. At number 2, it's Nicki Minaj for the Marie Claire cover shoot. So we shot at Philadelphia. We took a bus from New York to Philadelphia. It was about 2.5 hours. And so we shot there, and Nicki Minaj, she's a great person. She's a legend, queen of rap, of course. But it was one of my longest shoots of my life. We shot about, I would say, 21 hours, and how she has to get her hair and makeup done, which takes a while. And so it was more like waiting a lot backstage, and then we didn't finish up until 5 o'clock in the morning, and I had to go straight to New York and straight to another job. So it was about like a 36-hour day, which was a very long day, but I have to admit that's like one of my most amazing, legendary shoots I ever done, and I'll never forget that for the rest of my life. I mean, it was so cool. Nicki's great. Alright, so coming at number 1, my most memorable job that I will never forget. Actually, it happened this year. I was shooting, well, I was actually getting ready to go out the door to go to the gym, and then I get a call from my agent. He's like, hey Charlie, I need you to take a quick selfie and do a cheering video real quick. So I was like, alright, you know, I ended up doing that. And then he said, hold up, stay put, I'll get back to you within a couple of minutes. And then he said, okay, you're going to go straight to set right now, shower, you're going to be shooting for Coca-Cola for the next couple of days for their campaign. And I was like, holy crap, this is unreal. Like, Coca-Cola is like one of my favorite dream jobs I always want to work with. So we ended up shooting for 2 days. Our first day we shot at like a mansion, like a house, and my role is like a baseball player, and unfortunately I got stuck with the Giants as much as I'm a Cubs fan, but it was a lot of fun. But the thing is, you'd be drinking Cokes all day, doing takes. You take little sips, but I got to the point where you just take a sip and spit it out because you're drinking so much Coke. And then the second day is they ended up renting out Angel Stadium down at Anaheim, California. It's about like 10 minutes from Disneyland. So that's like right in the heart of where I grew up. It was my hometown. And that's another thing I won't never forget. So that's my number 1 most memorable job, Coca-Cola. But once again, guys, thank you for following me on my YouTube channel. As you know, I've been doing a lot of like mixing things up in my videos instead of like, you know, doing behind the scenes. And I'm gonna probably do some more fitness stuff soon because I see a lot of you guys asking me questions about what do you do for your abs, cardio, diet. So I'm gonna be posting more of that. So I'm gonna get some more video YouTube content out there. So thanks again, guys. Have a great day. I gotta get my day started. Peace.